I'm going to now recognize Representative Owen.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker and members. I would ask for your attention just for a moment. You know, we all seem to have a lot of pent-up energy today, and we're all really excited about a few days off and getting back home and maybe spending time with our families or sitting by a pool or playing golf or going to a lake or whatever we do. And we always look forward to Memorial Day as it starts our summer. But what I think we ought to do today is really reflect on what Memorial Day is and why we have it. Memorial Day is the holiday where we honor the sons and daughters of the United States of America who have given their lives in combat for our country. And we are free today because there have been people over the last 250 years who've been willing to do that. And we have this freedom to argue over things like buses and taxes and birth certificates and all sorts of things, and these laws and education. These things are important to us. And we can do that because we're free, because these people sacrificed for us and let us be free. Many thousands of Louisianians have died through the years. We lost 820 of our sons in World War I. We lost almost 5,000 in World War II. We lost over 800 in Korea and over 600 in Vietnam. Several hundred in the War on Terror. This June, speaking of losing lives, will be the 80th anniversary of the D-Day invasion, when the world was literally at risk, where liberty was in peril from Japanese imperialism and German fascism. And the United States undertook a great cause to try to invade Europe and to try to reclaim that land for free people. 2,500 Americans died that day. On that day, American boys died that day. 33 of Louisiana's sons gave their lives that day. 3 of them were never recovered. 12 of them were brought home to cemeteries here at home, and the rest are in cemeteries in Germany and England. We're going to do 2 things today. We're going to commemorate those guys, and in a moment, we're going to read every one of their names. It's just 33 names, but reflect on these lives that were lost. These were boys. I've got lots of their pictures I've collected in the last few months. These were young men who gave for us. So as we cycle through this, just remember those lives and all the lives before and since that have allowed us to be this free place that we are. Mr. Speaker is going to begin this process for us today.
Corporal Sidney Manuel of Eunice. Technical Sergeant Francis Guillory of Eunice.
Technician Fields Rush of Pineville. Corporal Frank Cheek of Rapides Parish. Private Raymond Bell from LaSalle Parish. Technician 5th Class Royd Keys of Winsboro. Private 1st Class Reginald Brock of Rayville.
Private Simpson Corson of Bastrop. Technician 5th Class Royd Keys of Winsboro. Private 1st Class Reginald Brock of Rayville, and Private Joe Peters.
Technician Alexander Oakley of New Orleans. Machinist mate Richard Harang, New Orleans. Private Whitney Falk, New Orleans. Private George Baragona of Slidell.
Corporal Albert Calais. Staff Sergeant Clarence Uzey of Lockport. Private Andrew Kling of Dutchtown.
Technician John Bray, New Orleans. Staff Sergeant Alvin Rainey of New Orleans. Technician John Berlin of New Orleans.
Technician 4th Class Luther Lockey of Shreveport. Motor Machinist Mate Glenn Soap of Shreveport. Private 1st Class Bose Kelly of Shreveport.
Sergeant George Wells of Rain. Sergeant Leonard David of Sabine Parish.
First Lieutenant Howard Brewster of Ruston. First Lieutenant James Holston of Gisborne. Sergeant John Hall of Oak Grove. Private First Class Claude Brunel of Madison Parish. Private First Class J.T. Pardue of Union Parish.
The final name, Sergeant John Amanus of Zawali. Mr. Speaker, I would ask that we have a moment of silence for these lives lost.
Moment of silence.
And the final thing, ladies and gentlemen, we walk past this podium every day. We walk past this podium every day, and there's a name on this podium. It's W.O. Noble. During World War II, also an 80th anniversary coming up, 3 members of this legislature resigned their post as legislators. The Lesseps Morrison of New Orleans, Bill Dodd, and W.O. Noble. They resigned their jobs as legislators and joined the American military. Mr. Dodd came back and became the lieutenant governor and the superintendent of education. Mr. Morrison became the mayor of New Orleans. W.O. Noble lost his life at the Battle of the Bulge in 1944. At the time, he was the youngest member of the legislature at age 33. Just finished law school, had a baby at home. The last couple of years when we've done this, Representative Emerson has said, we need to find Mr. Noble's family and let them know we do this and we still care. Well, they are with us today. Over here we have the Hanchy family. This is Representative and Lieutenant Noble's grandson, his wife, and his son joining us today for Memorial Day. And we want to tell you thank you for the sacrifice of your grandfather, for his heroism. Folks, he was given a Bronze Star for combat. He was battlefield promoted, which means the people in front of him were killed and they moved him up the ranks. And he gave his life at the Battle of the Bulge. And so on behalf of a grateful state, we want to welcome you to the Capitol. We want to wish you a reflective and joyful Memorial Day. And I want to thank you all for your attention. Thank you all, and God bless you.
Welcome to the Capitol.